Hi, Mike Brookfield here. Different location today. We're just outside Old Town, County Dublin. Anyway, I've got a question for you. What Beatles tune did Clapton famously quote on the Beano album? If you don't know the answer to that question, stick around. Hey, Mike Brookfield here. Welcome back to episode 5 of Eric Clapton Bluesbreakers lessons. Thanks a lot to everybody who's left positive comments on the last few videos. Yeah, it's good fun checking out all these tunes, and it's pretty challenging, but you know, we're kind of chipping through them, and it's kind of definitely opening my eyes to kind of new things. If you don't want to hear all the banter at the beginning of these videos, by the way, I'll put up, like I always do, a timer marker in the description, so you can just skip straight to the performance and the lesson if you like. So what are we doing today? Bit of Ray Charles, What I'd Say, which is the next track on the album, isn't it? So this is a really interesting one because he plays some interesting chord voicings. He like triple tracks a solo, and each solo on its own is a real gem. And then, like I said in the intro, what is the famous Beatles tune he plays at the end of the tune? If you make it through the drum solo, I'd say it's a popular skip track for guitar players because they don't want to listen to a drum solo, you know. So you might not get to the fact that he plays the Day Tripper riff at the end, you know. So anyway, great track, Ray Charles, kind of classic stuff, and full of really great guitar. So what can I say about it? I suppose, you know, it's just another killer one. I found it pretty tricky actually. Sometimes when you're learning things like, I don't know, Hideaway or Stepping Out, it's very, very clear what you have to do. There's the lick, you just got to get the speed up. This one, I found it tricky in the fact that I have to try and deliver it to you. You have to remember, I'm just a bloke in a room. I don't pretend to be any expert or anything, you know, on the Clapton thing. I'm just a bloke in a room that's kind of sharing this kind of material with you. So I have to kind of work it out, but then I have to make sure that I present it in a way where you can learn it as well. So I'm trying to play, when he plays the chords, I'm trying to do it as accurately as possible, but at the same time trying to keep the flow. And that was one of the things that I found pretty tricky, is when he's playing the rhythms, you know, it's very intuitive to him what he's doing in the heat of the moment because he's reacting to the band. But if you're actually trying to copy that, it doesn't feel natural, you know, because you're not in the room with the band, so you're not kind of playing that freely. You're just trying to copy somebody's experience, you know. So it's quite an interesting thing. And because it's, you know, this is pre-digital age, isn't it? There's no kind of playing to clicks or anything. So actually, when you're playing along with a record like this, trying to do it exactly, you know, in time with the record, is because there's a bit of drift, especially when they come in and out of sections. So, but you know, I just did 3 takes of the first guitar part, picked the best one, and then I did a couple of. I recorded the second guitar and the third guitar on the guitar solo. So when it gets to the demo that you can watch in a second, you'll see that I split screened it so you can see all 3 guitars going at once, which was a bit mad. But anyway, check it out now. So there you go. It's kind of funny when it gets to the guitar solo, isn't it? And there's 3 guitars all soloing at once. It's a bit kind of boggling, you know, if you like. So let's get stuck into it, will we? So what's interesting chordally is, you know, it's a 12-bar blues, but, you know, he's using the E7 sharp 9, which is, you know, some people call the Jimi Hendrix chord. When he goes to the A7, he's using an open A7 like that. Now when he goes to the turnaround to the B and the A, he's playing like, you can use this minor 7 flat 5 voicing as a substitute for the B7. And then when he goes to the A, you move it down 2 frets. It's very common to do that because you get a 9th chord. So by using that voicing, so it becomes a B9, and then you move it down 2 frets, and you get an A9, and then you're back to the E7 sharp 9 again. But he just plays fragments, so if you're looking at the tab, you're just really going to see, you're not going to see that full chord, you're just going to see fragments. And sometimes I just leave out the bottom note and just play. So you just kind of see that. It's like that, you know, the classic D7 shape, but move over 1 set of strings. You're on the 6th and 7th fret. And then to the 4th and 5th fret for the A9, and then back to... So if you're playing just a... This isn't the way he plays it, but this is using his voicings. You've got the E7... A7... E7 sharp 9... B9... You know, and he's not playing big, clunky, heavy chords. He's playing those fragments because there's a lot going on there. So, you know, when you're playing in a band, sometimes it's best to strip away and play smaller fragments of chords, isn't it? So I would play along with the track, just having fun, working through with just those simple voicings, and not worrying too much about exactly everything that he does. One thing I will point out, though, is when he transitions to the stops, or comes out of the stops, sorry, he goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So there's some really cool little riffs before he goes to the A chord. So the first one being, so it's like, tell your mom, tell your pa, I'm gonna take you back to, you know, that kind of thing, goes to the A chord. And then the second time where he goes, oh baby, oh, you know, so that he uses that. So I think he's just kind of like loosely kicking those out, but they're perfect, you know what I mean? So the first one, the second one is, and then you go into the A chord. Okay, let's check out the first guitar part when he does the guitar solo. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, which is the same as the earlier one. Then he goes to the A chord, back to the E. On the second guitar, he goes, this is pretty tricky now, he goes, so some really nice bends there, especially that line when he goes up. minor third bend. And then on the third guitar solo, he's going. One, two, three, four, Okay, other things to kind of note. There's there's other solos. There's the big drum solo there. When he comes in after the drum solo, you've got that the Day Tripper riff. Then you got this series of chords: E7, G7, A7, G7, up to B flat 7, A7, G7, E7, D7, B, back to D7, upper semitone, Jimi Hendrix chord. Woo! So there's a good bit in that, isn't there? It's a, if you're into the Clapton style and you really want to learn, get inside his kind of playing from this era, please don't skip over this fella. There's a lot in it, and even if you just take a little bit here and a little bit there, I'm trying to be quite completist in it, trying to cover, as much as I can, and you might just want to take maybe the second lead guitar part, that might be the thing that you want to focus on. And there's probably enough in that, to kind of take some really good stuff away. And then you feel good because you've checked out this track and you didn't miss out on anything. So, thanks again to everybody who's hanging out on these videos. And I appreciate all the kind comments. And please subscribe and say hello and, check out any albums and t-shirts and things like that. And keep it burning, and I'll see you on the next one.